Are we on? Are we on? Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. And tonight, we have two special guests. But tonight, we're doing a Basketball Heads special. We're going out to Long Island to preview the high school basketball talent on the island and see what, the island have to offer this year for the 2022-23 season. All right? So let me introduce you to our two guests. These basketball heads are two of Long Island basketball gatekeepers. When it comes to knowing who are the movers and shakers on the basketball scene on the island, these two guys are my go-tos. That's why they're on the show tonight. This first basketball head is a Manhattan Center and St. Francis College great, and who was my teammate on the legendary Madison Square Broncos AAU team. He has kept me in tune with all the players coming out of Long Island since I started the show 2 years ago. We talk basketball all the time. So you definitely know that this guy is somebody that you can listen to when it comes to knowing all the players out on Long Island, at least most of them. This next basketball head I met during the DVD era. You know, when all the hip-hop DVDs was going out, he had one of the best ones out in the streets. He put out a certified street classic Real Talk hip-hop DVD series. He also had a series of hip-hop mixtapes which feature him as an artist. He also have a movie out called The Chillers, available on Tubi. So make sure y'all go check that out and support my guy. That's on the Tubi network. The movie is called The Chillers. As you can see, he wears many hats. So wouldn't you know it, he came up playing ball as well in Brooklyn and Long Island and at Canterbury Prep School in Connecticut. He helped a ton of kids on Long Island acquire prep schools and college scholarship offers as well. Similar to his days when he was in the DVD game, he has managed to keep his ears to the street on the future ball players coming out of Long Island. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show, Manhattan Center and St. Francis College great, my guy, John Arnold. And joining him is Canterbury's prep school standout and entrepreneur, Arlis Michaels.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online. Buy your tickets cause the game about to start.
Fellas, what's happening, man? What's happening?
Glenn, what up?
I'm good.
Hot lads, what's good, man?
The legendary Coach John Arnold. How you doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the OG, man.
No
Mr.
doubt,
Shades.
man. Appreciate you, brother. So listen, man, I want to jump right into this, right? So I want to tap into all this a little bit, right? And then I'm going to open it up, man, because John heard this question a million times, but I get to ask you now, Arlis. Who introduced you to the game?
Basketball. I ain't gonna lie. I started playing ball out of boredom. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. My father is Aaron Stitch Wilson. We're originally from the Bronx. I mean, he left out my life at 6, so he didn't get a chance to even get a chance to see me hoop. So growing up in my earlier days, down the block from Cardinal Hayes and Grand Concourse, Jamal Mashburn and a couple other legendary guys, I probably would have wanted going to like Hayes if I'd have probably stayed out there. I remember going to gauchos with Kennard and Jamal Mashburn as a 9-year-old, just watching. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know what the hell is going on, but I remember the logo. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So, and then from there, moved to Brooklyn, and then actually, when my mother's in the military, so I moved my grandparents to Long Island for 3 years, 2.5 years. And that's when I really started to play because it was nothing really like I was trying to find a hobby, honestly. So I started playing and actually in Roosevelt Park. Like my guy Teddy and Dave Moses, he actually coaches now, Kareem Smith. And from there, I took a liking to it.
Hold on. So you played in the same legendary park as Dr. J.
That's honestly why I started. I didn't I didn't actually start like playing like where I was from.
Right.
Because there was like so much stuff going on, and then I was trying to, as a kid, get into like acting and stuff like that, and just like entertainment early. So I didn't actually like play there, like probably shoot around, but I didn't really play. When I got there, it was different because it was, my cousins live out there. It was just like, it was the suburbs, but it was still hood. But I was trying to figure out something to do. So once I seen the park, I think my girl was like a little basketball, and I was just trying. And I actually made the team. I was like the third string point guard. I didn't really play that much at the time. I was small, but I kept working, and then the work started paying off, and then I wound up going back to Brooklyn, and then I was kind of like a late bloomer, you would say. But I mean, it worked out for me. My whole thing was my mother couldn't afford college, and she always wanted me to go to school. So I feel like I overachieved. You know what I'm saying?
Look, a lot of guys don't keep it real, right? John, when we hear those stories, right? Dudes always like, well, the coach and I get it.
You never, what's so crazy? Like these kids be having 4 years of varsity experience, 3 years of varsity experience. I played 1.5 years of organized basketball. I just played street tournaments at AAU and still got scholarship. So these kids be thinking, because John, you're older than me, but he knows like they're getting over with the social media era. Back then, when I played, we had Hoop Scoop, that was Ron Clario, Mike Quick, MSG, and Tom Kachowski. That was it. Like, it was no faking this shit. It was none of that. Like, if you had to go actually to the game to see, nowadays these highlights, it just show, it shows the good shit. They don't show the bad shit. So these kids are kind of really getting over, and John is a mentor to a lot and believe in a lot of the hidden gems like I do. He knows, you know what I'm saying? So, like I tell a lot of kids like, yo, just go hard. Like, they make excuses. They blame it on the coach, they blame the AAU program. Dog, I was ineligible my first 3 years. My grades was shit. I was in the girls, I was in all type of shit. The time I took it seriously, I played a little bit past my senior year and then did a post grad because I graduated. I was 17 when I graduated, so mentally I wasn't ready to go to college.
Gotcha.
Went to prep school, played AAU that summer, blew up. Then it was like I had to take mad classes, and nowadays it's a little more strict. Like when you go to prep school back then, you was able to do like you could they accept like 4 core courses and shit like that back then. Now, I think if you go to prep, you only can accept 1. I don't really know the whole regimen. John probably knows more than I do as far as that to qualify. But, like even as a senior, I took 9, 10, 11, and 12th grade classes to make sure, and then I couldn't get the score. So eventually I had to go D2. I couldn't get I had short attention span. I couldn't concentrate for 3 hours. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to you. So my GPA in high school was a 67.5.
Wow.
Literally came up to a 2.0, you get a 10.10. I think the highest I got was a 9.40. And I probably, no bullshit, I took the test, I swear, about 14 times.
Well, that was the story of all of us back then. You know what I mean? Like most of us.
I'm not mad. And a lot of kids, honestly, they really need to like buckle up and prepare. You got a guy like John that really knows what it takes. And he knows some of the players that kind of look up to me. And I tell him, like, yo, listen to OG, like, listen to him. Because I was a kid, the practices wasn't, crazy in high school. It was like kind of like sets, some scrimmaging. So I wasn't prepared. Like my coach in college was young. He was fresh out. He played with Gary Trent at Ohio University. He was like 25. So he was doing all the D1 stuff, running 5 miles,
Right.
weights. I wasn't ready for none of that. It was like, I wasn't prepared. You know what I'm saying? So you got a guy like John and Pete that's really putting you through like college workouts early in high school to prepare you for the next level. And then at the next level, that will tell you if you're ready. Like if you really want to do this. I realized after my first week of college, I wasn't gonna play ball for the rest of my life. I'll be dead honest.
Gotcha.
Because I thought I was working hard until I realized it was a business. And then once I realized that, it was like I lost the love for it because I played every day, my friends. And once I got there, it's like, we're not even touching the basketball yet. What the hell? Like, like the first 1.5 is critical. It was like conditioning.
Right.
I wasn't prepared for that. And I couldn't use my ankles, so I couldn't use none of this. Coach was like, I'll send you home. It was none of that. And kids need to really understand everything they do in high school. The minute they hit a college campus, they step on the college court, it doesn't matter anymore. You start fresh. They don't lose. You know what I'm saying? And
so hold on. Let's talk about this for a sec. What made you get interested in helping kids, right? And then we're gonna segue and open it up. Like what made you get interested in helping kids?
I'm gonna be honest with you. My nephew Jerry Dingle and so my brother used to have me go to the games at Olive Garden.
So your nephew was Jared Dingle that played the starting point guard for South Shore.
South Shore.
Got you.
If he didn't play, I would have never got involved. I didn't really care about getting involved. I had my time or whatever. So Mo used to have me come to the game at Olive Garden. And
right.
I was never really excited because I felt like he was better than everybody. So I really couldn't value his talent level, honestly.
Right.
And so what I used to do is like, after him and Zaire Baines was in the backcourt, it's like 6th, 7th grade. And I'm like, you know what? Let me start taking them to the city to really see. And then from there, all the kids started kind of like, I guess I was like a plug or something or whatever. All these kids started like DMing me and start reaching out and like, what's up? Like, like help. And, if I can help a kid, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind because everybody that I played with or against college, coaching college now. So it's nothing to be like, check this kid out. What you think? So if it wasn't for him, I probably would have never even thought about I had my time. So you know what I'm saying?
And that's funny that you say that because when we talk about, guys who help kids, right? It's the guy who helped kids, right? Because they want to get them to a better situation, right? And it's a combination of, you can have that kid who's close to you, that's in your family, that you want to help out. And then it's the guy who we call the handler, right? So, John, I'm going to come to you, right?
I don't think me and John are not.
Oh, I know, but we're going to talk about this, right? The handler, John, right? Do you think
can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy who's called the handler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he doing it for the same reasons that you guys are doing it, or he doing it for selfish reasons? Or is it a combination?
I mean, it depends. I think most guys who consider themselves handlers, it's they're doing it for a reason.
Right.
They're doing it to get something out of it, whether it's financial or whatever. That's a handler. A handler, you rarely see the parent involved. Where it's if it's a coach dealing with the kid, you got to deal with this guy, who could be pain in the ass at times, but never the parent being involved. That's more like a handler. A handler is someone. All right, I'm gonna get a say an African kid, and you know what, I'm gonna make as much or get out of it as much as possible. But that's a handler. A handler is not gonna say, all right, you know what? Let's go to the track. Let's go. We going to run. A handler is not gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna send you here because you're gonna develop here. A handler is gonna send you there because guess what? The guy's, he's taking care of me in some way, shape, or form. That's the handler.
So that's similar to what Thon Maker had. I remember Thon Maker when he was in high school and seeing him at the Barclays Center.
There's a kid that went to Howard, right?
No, that's his brother. Thon actually played in the league.
It's just I actually saw that they had a special. I forgot. I think it was on Netflix or one of. I think it's Prime Videos, if I'm not mistaken. They had a special on that whole family. See, I don't look at that.
They got a young one right now that's like in 9th grade. There's a lot of them.
But guess what though?
They're like
that guy. I don't think that guy's if he's a handler, he's a handler. But that guy put time, energy, and money into that kid. Where those kids moved in with his family.
Got you.
You know, so that guy put
it's a different kind of handler.
Yeah,
man. Different levels. Okay.
A handler is somebody saying, guess what? You know, yeah, he'll play with you, but guess what? You gotta, give me whatever.
Got you. I wanted to get that straight. You know what I'm saying?
John pretty much summed it up. Like, I don't consider myself as a handler. I don't think John considered. We just doing it just on the love and try to help these kids, progress. I see all the work he did with Jared Roden from day one. He John really pushed them. And, as I said, I give credit where credit is due. Like when he started off, he was very rocky. And John kept going and pushed, built a team around him, a support system. And right now he's currently he made it to the league, what I'm saying, which I figured he would because he did all the little things that a lot of players wouldn't do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Glenn, you know what it is too, man. It's funny. It's funny because when you see, I'm just a big fan of. I know I wouldn't be here if I didn't have Doc, Mr. Leutch.
I play for Doc too.
Right? 3 Bronco guys on here. That's good.
Yeah. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Harlem teams, Leon Braxton. Those guys, they did it. And they did it out of love. They didn't get paid. They didn't get paid for it.
Yeah.
I played at practicing at YMCA, I think like on 23rd, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you could say, yeah, Mr. Leutch had his, he had his issues or whatever. But Mr. Leutch,
he had a stacked team too. He was
but Mr. Leutch was one who gave a lot. Mr. Leutch didn't have to do what he did. He didn't just help the Walter Berries or Kenny Andersons. He helped guys like me. So I, Mr. Leutch did a lot for people. I don't consider Mr. Leutch a handler.
Yeah, I don't. Again,
I wouldn't think he was a handler. He was already a millionaire, so I don't really.
Right, him and Lou. I would never
say
anything to tarnish their name because of all the positive that they did.
Lou owned like Can or something like that. His family, right? Or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Glenn, you remember Doc? You remember that old van we had? We traveled to Buffalo. We traveled to Buffalo, everywhere in that van.
Facts.
Doc.
Y'all played on the same team.
Yeah.
We didn't have to pay a dime. We didn't have to pay a dime. Doc took care of us, man.
I didn't even know Doc was around that long. I remember when I played probably one tournament there, like Eddie Perry and all them playing like Sean Burnham and all them guys. Like,
nah, he was around for
then.
When I was a freshman, my coach told us at Lincoln because let me even go back. When I had Strickland up here, Strickland talked about my OGs at Lincoln, Spice and Silk. There were 2 guards, right, at Lincoln, who went up to the Gauchos at Mitchell Gym, and everybody thought they was going to be on the team because they did so well. My coach yanked them off the team and told them they had to play with Doc, right? And they never came back. He was like, I wonder why they never came back. Then I wound up seeing them playing with the Broncos. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, because everybody at Lincoln, that's where our coach, shoveled us to. So, look, I have no regrets, and I'm a guy who's loyal. Even though the Riverside and the Gauchos was pulling at me, I stayed with Doc. You know what I'm saying? So
Doc was a good dude, and Doc really promoted his players. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember when Cannons and all them played with him. Like, he really promoted his players.
Now look, when you get a guy like Mousy McFadden who didn't play high school ball and played with the Broncos and be able to move over to Cleveland State and become a legend like that, he's the reason why. Doc is the reason why Mousy did so well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like New York always had a lot of like hidden gems. Like me, that's all I look for. I want the kids that, like when I have the free time, try to help like the kids that I think is good that nobody believed in. And John's kind of on the same type of time that I'm kind of on, because the kids that he really promoted was kind of like hidden gems as well. So right now, I'm like 7 for 7 right now. They all Division I. So
yeah, when we spoke, that was the first thing you said. You was like, I go after the hidden gems. It wasn't like, yo, my players is ranked 3rd, and I got this kid who's ranked like number 29.
If you look at it, even from my era and your era, like that's not guarantee you to make it to the NBA. If John Morant had one Division I offer, he was like the 2nd pick in the draft. He's a $100 million guy. Yeah. So that really doesn't, kids kind of like who's ranking these guys? Like what's their credentials to rank players? Like, do they play? Like, like even the people that go on ESPN and talk, like, was they NBA players? Some of them are not. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to be technical, just in life, like people that do the rankings at music, like they never did music. So it's like, what do we listen to? The people that sign artists, or it's no different. I do entertainment, it's no different from that to music. You know what I'm saying? It's like John took a diamond in the rough and he made it. Like, it wasn't predicted when he was in 9th, 10th grade, and everybody knows that. I hope he's listening. He knows that.
Yeah, and it's just getting kids to believe, and learning how to work. Once you get a kid to believe and they learn how to work,
I was promoting Zakai Ziegler since he was in 8th, 9th grade when I met him, and people looked at me like I was freaking crazy. Like, yo, he's too little. Like, what are you talking about?
Who's that? Say that name again.
Zakai Ziegler. John.
There you go. Yeah.
Since 8th, 9th grade when I met him, I'm like, yo, this kid is tough. He's gonna be the next guy. I'm calling colleges every day, all day for him. He's too small. Like, what are you talking about? How could he play D1? And Shandu happened to call me in the clutch, and he believed, and Dana believed, and he got put on that big stage and he performed. And he's at Tennessee.
Yeah.
But it's like people was thinking I was crazy. Like, yo, you're crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I'm like, what do you mean? Because the first thing they asked you was who offered them, and I feel like that demographic should be like changed. It's like going to a car dealership. The first thing they ask you is how much you putting down. You ain't even look at my credit. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel.
No, that's a great segue, right? That's a great segue to where I want to go to because me and John was talking earlier, and I'm saying to myself, who's ranking these guys, right? And then John was like, what did you say, John, when I asked you who was ranking these guys? And how do they get ranked? Explain that to the people.
So it's funny. I saw I didn't know this, and I actually learned this from football as well, where I think it's 247.
Yeah.
So
247 Sports.
So they rank kids based on offers. And I'm like, hold up, how are you ranking kids based on offers in the climate today where, Glenn, half of our buddies who we played with or played against
right
are either head coaches,
facts,
or assistant coaches,
facts.
And every day I'll see a kid get an offer. I hit him, yo, you offered blah blah blah. He's like, who is that? So 247 is ranking kids based on how many offers they have, and it's hilarious. I think it's sad. I think it's not fair to.
If you look at
what's happening, a lot of kids. You ask a kid, did you speak to the head coach? Did he reach out to your family? And the kids are like, nah. Either my AAU coach told me, or that's not an offer. That's a phone call. Yo, can you offer my kid? Yo, can you do me a favor? It's almost a recruiting tool for programs.
And Bryant was the king of offers last year. Every time we turned around, I'm lying, John.
You said it. I didn't say it.
I did say it. Look,
I mean,
look,
me playing against Jared from a kid.
bring the smoke. Bring the smoke here.
I think Jared is one of the best, like young recruiters, because that's how he really got his shot from recruiting players at all the schools he was at. I Iona Fordham and all that. I mean, he had like the top 3 recruiting class out the portal. They had Bryant. You know, like he's young, so he like, instead of going overseas, he went straight right into coaching after Quinnipiac. I've been playing against him my whole life since 14 years old. So.
Now, no, I'm saying this because they was giving guys offers who were freshmen. We're not talking about dudes who were like juniors and seniors. We were talking about dudes who were freshmen that was getting these offers, and you look 4 years later, they're not even in the conversation.
Glenn, every college coach that I spoke to, we're not looking at 25s. We're not looking at 24s, barely, unless you're one of those kids. And they don't have time with the portal, the transfer portal, with Division IIs transferring, with JUCO. Then they go to the prep kids. They don't have time. So when you see a lot of it, it's like, some people love that game. Some people want to play that game, but it's a dangerous game.
Right now, due to the fact that people don't have to sit out and they can just play, and kids are getting nervous, they shaking right now, and they're trying to commit by November, the latest, maybe December, which is not a bad thing, because I had kids that was 4-stars that like wanted me to mentor them, and by like March, April, they lost a lot of offers, like Texas A&M, mad schools, like because the colleges, they really want older players. So now the game is completely different. So my kids, like, look, it was even a situation. One of my young boys, he looked up to me. He go hard. John happened to be coaching him then right forward, and John put the call in for him, for St. Francis. And he asked me, like, what you think? I said, I think that's a good move. It's NEC. I think you should take it. He's like, but I think I can go higher. I'm like, it ain't about going higher. It's about going where you want it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't watch the big homie Charles Jones, the guy from Auburn, that I look up to still to this day, playing that same conference and tear that shit apart. You know what I'm saying? So that's back when like Roachner was playing over there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So don't look at like the division, look at where you want it. I think he could have been a big factor in that conference. And John made the call over there. He didn't have a lot of D1s. He's a JUCO now, and I'm like, he asked my opinion. I said, I think you should take it. I think it ain't about the level. It's about, going somewhere you can fit and maybe dominate.
And develop.
If you're nice, they're going to find you. That's my opinion.
Right. We always talk about, I always talk about on the show, and I tell guys, these young guys, go who want you. A lot of times we go where everybody want us to go, right? And then we wind up not having anything.
Or what's sexy.
Yes.
What's sexy.
Yes. I'm not
what's going to look nice on the Instagram page.
I'm not going.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to no school to sit on the bench. So it's like, like I tell kids that all the time. When kids pick the schools, they pick the schools based on the name. Half these kids, even that I help out, they never watched, even as a condom at the time, they never watched college basketball. I used to make them sit in my crib and watch college basketball. I didn't watch the NBA. I watched college basketball.
Yeah.
Once they get to the NBA, it's like, all right, cool. They made it to the highest level now. Like, and I'm cool. Like, I go right back to high school and college. Like, I'm a fan of that. I'm not even a fan of the NBA like that at this point. So a lot of these high school kids don't even watch because they just picking schools by the name and the colors of the uniforms. They don't know if like, oh snap, is this the right fit? We know all the same kids. I'm like, go on YouTube and look at how they play. It might not be the way your style of play is.
Yeah.
A lot of kids don't really understand that. They just picking schools off the name, or they want a whole bunch of offers and all this shit. They think it's sexy, but you only can pick one school. Sometimes it's better just to have, look at like Tar Rochelle, like prime example. I throw an event every year. I did it 5 years. I got my professional chiller basketball high school classic. I've been watching the kid all summer. He played in my event. He had 30. I thought the kid was good. I watched him all summer. I called Jared Grasser. I'm like, I think you should offer this kid. I think he's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I sent them footage from my event. He did it. This, you know, these coaches, they look at some shit called synergy. You know, John knows more about it than I do. It shows you whatever stats and percentages.
What is that? Hold on. Before you move on, explain that, John, because I've never heard of it before.
John knows more about it than I probably.
I'm being honest with you. I don't know.
There's a thing that college coaches look at. It's called synergy.
But I'm gonna say this. Most of these guys are not watching half of these videos. I mean, they may see a kid and it's, you know, if it's the obvious kid, then it's obvious. But half of them are not watching highlight films. Like even when I see a kid video, hold on for a sec. Go ahead. When I see a kid video, first thing I look at is, dude, who are you playing against?
Maybe so.
Who are you playing? Because that's how they evaluating. So most of these guys, like you see a lot of the live streams, most of these coaches are not looking at that. You know, it's tough. Like some kids actually benefited from the COVID, you know, with the live streaming, but now they want to put eyes on you. They want to put eyes on you.
So, like in that situation, when I sent him the footage and some highlights, he went to synergies. Like I checked the synergy. It shows you like free throw percentage, turnover, assist ratio, all that. All of his things was good. And he's like, yo, you're right. Like, I'm all for him. Like, see if we can make it happen. And my event was on a Sunday. He offered him on a Monday. He wanted to visit on a Thursday. He
but Arlis, they also, because you know, Todd came with us for about 2-3 months. And
that was before he got with y'all.
Yeah, no, but they actually also went out to see him with Riverside, and he played really well that session. And
I mean, if you ask Todd, Jared didn't tell you. He didn't have the only offer he had was St. Rose. I watched it because, and I'm gonna tell you how I met him because Gary Irvin and BG Express, they wanted Zakai to come down to the Isaiah Whitehead workout, and they played on the same team. And I'm like, who's that kid? And they told me, and he was like, yo, he's probably gonna go to prep. He was an unsigned senior. This was in, I think, March. It was like a March, April time. And I thought the kid was pretty good. And I started watching him in Lincoln Park and a couple of things.
I had him on my show before that. I saw him. I saw him play with St. Francis Prep. And I thought he was. I couldn't believe it. He didn't have any offers. I said,
and then it was so crazy because when
come on the show, talk about your, you know, what you want to do.
He offered him, and then he committed, and then, you know, guy was like, yeah, he could just work out, and then he started playing with John and Sanchez at Upper Room. I don't know what happened, like, as far as that. He was already committed.
Long story, long.
You know what I'm saying? He was already committed before September.
Yeah, so, I mean, we did it hoping we could help him get something else.
Yeah, I know. And he same thing he asked, because, you know, people started getting in his head like, yo, you could just wait and get him. Like, look, man, these D1s are finicky, man. You like, and he's happy. He's going hard.
That's what I told him, because I kind of took Todd under the wing where he would come, you know, we would meet up and work out, lift together. And I told Todd, I said, if something else comes up, because we were trying to help him. But I said, commit.
So he had 2 months before that November signing period.
Right. Before that November signing period. Yeah, I said, commit. At least you have that in the tank. And, you know, something comes up.
Always be commit.
Yeah.
And it's scary because, you know, you didn't know we never knew that the portal would be 2,200 kids. So he would have been at square one. He's happy as a Division I player because, you know, he asked, I said, yo, man, I ain't making your decision. You ain't got no D1s. He ain't be on the politics. He wants you. I would commit, but hey, you can do whatever you want to do. I just thought you was good enough. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, that's how it is with a lot of these kids. You know, there's a lot of pressure, people in the air, and people trying to get things, you know, whatever.
But Arlis, even Zakai, right? So I remember because he was gonna come with us to Upper Room, right? He came and worked out with us for about a week, right?
He was gonna spoke to his mother. He definitely, that was an option. He definitely was.
So I remember Dana. It was Dana. Dana said, "Yo, John, talk to Sakai, right? See, you know, because Sakai has that funny birthday. Talk to Sakai and see if Sakai, you know, wanted to play EYBL." And I said, D, that's a no-brainer. If he could get an opportunity to play EYBL, I said, I think he'll get something. And he was hesitant at first because Sakai wanted to go to school. and I would text him. I would bother the crap out of him, and once he committed to it, I said the shit don't make sense coming with us to upper room. I said, yo, go to OSL, go with Pete. Worst come to worst, if you get some during the summer EYBL, you go. But if not, you're going to be on that grind session, which
It
which is the EYBL of high school.
It was kind of crazy because the pandemic came in 2020. So in 2020, I didn't know what was going on. I was scared to leave my house. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
I got on the same computer. I went on, like I call every college coach I know on Twitter. I sent this footage to, no exaggeration, 103 college coaches. Maybe 3 or 4 hit me back. He was damn near going to Southern University. Like, he never watched college basketball like that. He just felt he was a D1 player. I thought he was a D1 player.
So how did he get where he's at now? What was the deciding factor?
So his junior year, you know, because the kid used to stay at the house. He used to stay over here sometimes. And, you know, we built a great relationship with his family. I just, you know, the kid just was hungry. And I had all his footage or whatever. I used to just send it to schools, call everybody I knew, call people. I mean, they didn't really get it because he was only 5'9", 5'10". But for school, so I started looking at rosters because I was bored. I mean, I was bored at the time. I didn't know what was going on. The people was dying. I didn't know. So I started looking at the South schools, like, okay, they got roster 5'8", 5'9", 5. So I'm starting to hit these coaches up. Start sending this footage. So the 3 schools, North Alabama believed in him. Willie Watson, shout out to Willie. I want to get him Dan Brasco over there. He believed, he thought the kid was good enough. He's like, yo, this kid is better than the guys we got. But the problem was, through the fact of the pandemic, the kid was able to come back for another year. So he didn't have a scholarship again until 2022. So he knew if he played on the circuit, it was over. So Southern believed, Texas Arlington believed, North Alabama believed, and Bryant believed. So those are the 4 schools. So my guy Pete, he's actually from Jersey. So, you know, he was assistant coach. He was pressing with the head coach, like, look, like, yo, this kid he's the real deal. I'm sending him from street footage to the high school footage, all of that type of stuff. So they was in contact with his mother, contact with him. He liked it. She liked HBCU. It was far away. It was a nice school. And we wound up being at Real Skills, the tournament. That's like the first week of September. This was 2020 or 2021 or whatever. And Shan happened to call me when he was standing next to me because real talk, the guy was talking about quitting basketball. He was like, kept saying that, like, I should have just stuck to football. And I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? You'll be fine. And Shan called me like, yo, what up? Yo, like, what you think? Like, what's the guy? Like, what's up? Like, what up? Like, he's like, I think he's a Division I player. I think he could at least play at the Atlantic 10. I'm like, well, he right here. I think you need to tell him that because he's talking about quitting. So I gave him the phone and they had a conversation for 2-3 minutes. He gave me the phone back and Shan said, don't send him to college. I got a plan. And the plan actually worked. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So what was it, the footage or was people actually seeing him play? Go ahead.
You know, John already know him, but you know, the kid was like, you know, he's rocking with me hard, but Shan believed, and you know, they're like, you know, they're a powerhouse. You know, you got John, you got Pete, you got Shan, and you got Dana. So once the machine got behind it and believed it, like, look, and then he played on that circuit, yo, he just went crazy. You know.
So go ahead, John.
Because I don't want to get confused because
right. And so this way, people get both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
This side, as far as getting that attention, right?
I mean,
with the videos, and then
it wasn't
the playing in real time.
All they really knew was a platform. The kid had the talent. John knew he had the talent. Everybody knew he had the talent.
Which is true.
They provided the EYBL platform, and I mean, you know, to me, a lot of kids, honestly, like if it doesn't go right, they try to blame the coaches. Like, and I ain't with all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? a coach's job is to provide the platform, right, for the kid to showcase their talent. The rest is on you.
Yeah. So that's where I was going to go.
The Lightning provided the platform, and the kid went to work, and he acquired like 17 offers or 13 offers in like 11 days. It was like crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say, Arlis. Zakai, you got to give him. I give him all. I give Dana and them credit because they put him on the platform. Right. But what that kid does, and Glenn, you and I had this conversation, and this is my PSA or whatever you want to call it to small point guards. That fucking kid, excuse my language, is a pest. He affected the game in different ways. With most kids that size, they think they got to get buckets. And it goes back to Glenn when we play. Everybody is good when you come together for AAU. Can you make those other dudes on that team either want to play with you or make them better? And when you watch Sakai and what he did on that EYBL circuit was no different from what he did throughout high school. That kid is just a tough kid. He defends 94 feet. He gives it up. He gives it up, and he can hit open shots.
People don't really understand. Like, you know, he went through a lot. You know, the kid really was from the struggle, and you know, people don't understand. Like, his uncle got killed like the first day of like Peace Jam or second day of Peace Jam. So to get that phone call, it was like point of no return. To lose your uncle, to violence. Like, he just put it all on the line, man. Like, all these guys that got to all of them dudes, he just went crazy on them guys.
And Arlis, it was a perfect storm. The coach at Tennessee loved small guards. He had TJ Ford. Man. So it made sense. It was a great fit. And they check this out. And they recruited a kid who they said was one and done, which was a point guard.
Fair. And it was so crazy because the coach that recruited him, which was Schwartz, it's like it worked out. He got a head coaching job. He left like during the middle of the playoffs. He's at Eastern Carolina as a head coach. So it was like, like he put the work in, man. Like he really.
But but Coach Sanchez said since 8th grade he was a worker, and that, that's my biggest thing with this. You got to know how to work. That kid knew how to work. He learned how to work
and show it in real time. So this is what I want to do right now, right? Since we got Zakai out the way, and he has proven that he is the caliber player that both of you guys saw coming up and transition from being on video to live in real person, right? Which a lot of people can't do.
Actually,
right?
Small guys hope. Like
what? Right. So what is the temperature now on the island with basketball players, right? Yeah. So we're gonna go to John, and I'm gonna bring it to you, Arlis. And if he mentions some people that you probably haven't mentioned, I want you to pick it up after he's finished.
Okay, so just to say, to be clear, like with Zakai, that was later on once he came and he was thinking about coming back to Up Room. I had his younger brother, Monty.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's tough, man, because a lot of the better kids are leaving Long Island.
Where they going?
They going to this.
Either prep school.
I think they got some of the best players. Me and John are both from the city, so you're from the city, so the coaches, they get smart. They reach out to me, they reach out to John, they reaching out like, yo, like they ain't snagging them. Wayne Pierce, all them guys, like, they all Division I, guys. So, I took it upon myself. I talked to Lee and to create like a 17U program, grab like 8 hidden gems, and I'm gonna get all of them people. Because like a lot of these guys, they like try to take credit like for like kids that's already ranked and known and all of that stuff, and all the guys that I already believed in, and same thing with John, like they all went deep Division I. Like,
so let's besides those kids, we're talking about the kids that's presently in high school right now, right? So John, who are some of the kids that's presently in high school right now? Because this is the Long Island High School basketball preview. So we want to talk about the kids that's currently in high school right now that have a chance to making it to the next level? Who are some of those kids?
Yo, Glenn is tough. It's funny because you have a lot of the island kids elsewhere.
It's the same way
one,
that with a
I'm
lot
gonna
of the
say
city
this.
kids.
I'm gonna say
It's
this.
just a lot more here.
I'm gonna say this. Frank Wilson
That's my
is
boy.
Frank
So,
Wilson is good. Once Frank accepts who he is, 6'4",
Frank,
6'5",
he could be tough.
again, everybody want to be a wing at that size, but he's an energy guy. And once he learns how to accept that, I think Frank has a chance. It's funny. I was talking to DK. I love what Empire is doing. DK is working, but there was a kid, Malachi Palmer. I thought.
Malcolm Moore, me.
Is it more?
Malcolm
More.
Palmer.
I'm sorry, more. Right.
He's good.
He's Copeg kid, right?
Yeah, he's good. Malcolm Moore's good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. The Copeg kid is pretty good. Who else? You got the big kid from I think it's Smithtown.
Yeah.
Smith, you there, Arlis? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, his father coached at his father coached Truman girls for a long time.
Like 6'7", 6'8". I know you're talking about.
But the father's about 7'2".
Wow.
But the kid is about 6'8". He's pretty good. He plays with Crown. Not sure if he's gonna prep. He may need the prep to give himself a chance. And I'm gonna give this is my sleeper because it's one of my boys, and I always told his dad, I said once he learns how to speed up and play faster, the kid Carter Wilson at St. John the Baptist.
He's good. He played in my event, so he showed out. He's pretty good.
Yeah, Carter. I gave Carter hell. I gave him hell because I told him you got to speed up. You got to speed up, and I think Carter, once he figures it out, he has a chance. But it's tough, man. It's so watered down, Glenn.
Yeah,
and here's part of the issue, right? I just think a lot of the coaches, the high school coaches they don't get involved with the younger kids. So you don't know what you have in your district or your feeder system. So you see coaches that, they'll look at an Instagram and say, oh, wow, this kid, people are saying this kid is good. But meanwhile, in that same farm system, you got a kid whose father is 6'8", and this kid is going to eventually grow. But that's the kid you push into the side for this kid because you heard somebody say something. It is tough. I think the high school coaches don't have a clue. They're not involved. So you don't know what's going on. You just, you're under the impression I'm going to coach who I have to coach. But I can't forget this one. And it's funny because New York State ranked the Lehigh kids, right? Jaden Reed is
Jaden Reed. He's number one on some lists.
Jaden Reed he's his mother and my wife are like fam says kids. They grew up together, family. So Jaden's like family. But there's another one, and it's actually a brother, the kid Caden Mingo. Caden Mingo and
Mingo brothers is tough.
Let me tell you something. I think he's probably the best 20-25 point guard. He got size. He got size, and he plays the right way, and he's physical, 6'2", 6'3", but they don't give him enough props. But I'm gonna tell you this though, and I told Shan this. I called Shan. I said, Shan, Caden is one where in your program you might think about playing him 17s because he's gonna mature in that new league that Lehigh is in. He's gonna grow from that because he's probably gonna be their starting point guard, and he's gonna grow from playing against those high level kids.
Caden, nice.
So Caden Mingo is definitely one as well. And his younger brother just got to get stronger. He's a freshman, but he's already 6'4", and he's a young freshman. That kid just turned 14.
Wow.
And you rarely don't hear that. You rarely don't hear that.
So all this, how do you put together the group? Like, how do you find the kids who actually play in your all-star game?
I mean, they kind of like find me. Like, they reach out. I mean, I told you I started all of this because of Jared Dingle, and then it took off. I done had pros that played Luther Muhammad, Scotty Lewis, It was my first year I did it. And Scotty Lewis playing it. Justin Winston, Luther Muhammad, that's at Arizona State. Savion Lewis was, to me, still one of the best guards in his last 10 years. Coming out of Long Island, like his swag, IQ, everything. He had 50, matter of fact, in that game. Elijah Hutchins, he played with Zakai Immaculate. I think he's at Penn State or somewhere. Who else?
But like now, who you have your eyes on now that you said, you know what? Since we did have all of these other guys who came through and played, who are some of the guys you're looking at now to say, you know what? I know the game is going to be good on a high school level because of these kids.
I'm working with Marcus Winter. He's the point guard for Harvard Fields, and Derek Reed. I think I can get both of them Division I. Cam Quinn, he played for North Bab.
It's tough. All this tough.
Amar Giles, he's an 8th grader. He's gonna be playing varsity with Farmingdale.
Now hold on, I'm gonna stop you right there, Arlis. Right? What made you go back and check out the 8th grader? Because John just mentioned a lot of guys are not looking. Coaches are not looking at the younger guys who are coming up.
I mean, like as I said, my sons play basketball, so they play on purpose. They play with Lee, so that's why. So I be getting an eye on like the younger kids, like, oh, he's gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he's right. A lot of coaches don't really look that far ahead, but you know, when you got connections, you know, you got made hoops, marquee hoops, you got all these stuff to get them, you know, get them on these circuits early and get them in these top 100s and get them on these things that start, you know, like if you look at like Ian Jackson, like, you know, you got to realize he didn't play on the circuit. Like he got hot from like hoop group and stuff to where like EYBL wanted him, and you know he been rocking with Muggs, and they had Adidas like, nah, we gotta give this guy like, you know, a sponsor.
Yo, hold on, Arlis, not to cut you off. He played.
He played originally, yes, he did.
Ian played and made hoops.
No, I'm saying he did, but I'm talking about like on the circuit, like teams. Like he really got his name from like the made hoops, the hoop groups and stuff like that early, like 8th grade. He didn't really play on like a crazy circuit like that yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But no, that was after he played made hoops. He didn't play. He was on that same team. He was on that team, which would be 2023. He was on that. He was on that team.
Because you got to think about it. Like Muggs had a lot of them kids early, like Rams TV and all. They all was Wiz kids originally, before anything. But you know how it is to get a sponsor. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
You know,
So Glenn, I didn't name my guys because they're not on the island. So you know, I just want to be fair to Long Island. You know, I don't consider.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with me.
You just saw one of my guys, Glenn, this past weekend.
Right. Oh.
Not, but I can't put.
I know, and I get it. But let me just say this, because I saw this up close and personal. This kid, Joshua Malcolm, is no joke. He is a problem. Makes very few mistakes, very strong, can shoot that thing, consistent at the foul line, plays 94 feet. I didn't really see any weaknesses. And I just had to focus. And the coach kind of got my attention on him because they was just like, we got to cut the head off the monster. We trap the point guard, and I was looking, and it made me pay attention to him. Because he a kid that can get you 25, 22, 23. And if you're not really paying attention, well, if you got the eye, you'll catch it. And I got to the game kind of late.
Yeah. Because like
he's a problem.
A lot of the
now
guys,
he's at Holy Cross.
I got guys from like Cole Lane, and like he's top 25 in the country, 6'8" shooting guard, class of 25. I'm gonna bring him to Brevoort next time. I tell him.
Long Island?
Nah, he's from North Carolina. I got kids.
Yeah, see, I'm talking Long Island.
We just talking Long Island.
I got kids from all over too.
I know,
like
but
John got kids
we can't do a North Carolina. We talk about the Long Island high school preview.
I want to see. Oh wait a minute, hold on. That's the kid that's going to. Where that kid going? The kid you just said.
He's at Holy Cross. I just wanted to mention him because John.
Yeah, but
brought
that's
him
what I
up.
said.
He was from Long Island.
I can't put my guys, even though they live in Long Island, they go to school outside. Like my guys in the prep
You
school.
can still count them, though, John. You can still count. You can't count those kids.
No, because I kind of want to figure out who is left out on the island. If all these kids are leaving, who are the kids left out on the island that's going to make Long Island
think
strong?
Think about it, all this. You got Preston, head and shoulders, probably would have been the best player in Long Island. He's in Pennsylvania now, so we can't put him in that same.
That was a good move for him to get out of here. I mean, he dominated the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between the Long Island and the city game? What's the difference?
The city coaches are involved, like KK and them at Eagle. Yes. They're involved. They're working. So you see it. Like even at St. Francis Prep, that coach is a hell of a coach. He's involved. So the Long Island coaches, once the season's over, I'm going to coach tennis. I'm going to coach lacrosse. So it becomes just a job. I could give two craps what those kids do during their off season, and then I swear to you, you got coaches that are telling kids, if I see you working out, they're playing football. If I see you working out, you got problems.
What?
If you working out playing basketball, if I see you in the gym, you got problems.
So this is where guys like Arlis comes in, because there's a lack of representation and the dudes who are not getting that look. Mm-hmm. So now Arlis got to step in and be like, yo, come on, let me help you.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
So that's why my guys.
I mean, they reach out to me though. Like as I said, what's thing? Well, I mean,
I know. I'm saying it's a combination of them reaching out to you, but they don't have nowhere else to call on. Who else they gonna?
And they got John. John is connected.
But
John is a heavyweight.
But see, Arlis, here's my thing, right? Like I have my relationships, right? But a lot of my guys are around me. Even my football guys, they're around me from babies. So they know how to work. They know how to grind. It may not be now where they reap the benefits, but you see as they get closer to that end, you see them start getting something out of it. But it's tough, man. It's tough because you fight. You fight, and I live in Baldwin. Coach Burton, one of the nicest guys that I've met. Real nice guy.
He's one of my mentors too.
Say it again.
He was one of my mentors early.
But and even with Jared, I used to call him every day, and it felt strange, but I would call him to invite him to come see what the kids are doing in the gym, and time and time he would turn me down. And when Jared got to the point where he needed more, it was like, Coach, he can't stay here. This kid needs more. Whether you like it or not, I gotta be honest with him and the family.
27 a game at one point.
Say it again.
He was leading score in New York at one point. He was averaging 27.
Yeah, that was at OSL.
I remember that. I remember when Pete got the job there.
It's crazy. I think we lost. Glenn.
We lost.
I just stepped away for a minute.
Okay,
my phone was ringing.
Okay.
My phone was ringing. Yeah.
So Glenn, like I said, I just think the coaches got to get more involved, and you got to allow these kids to spread their wings a little more, And if you get involved early and develop it, like the same district, Baldwin, that girl, I told you this last time, that girl coach has multiple Division I kids every year.
They got like 6 Division I players in that city.
For what school? What high school?
Baldwin.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, 6 every year.
But the thing is, like I was saying all this, Burton's a nice guy. But if you want more for these kids, you got to do more. It's no disrespect. And I'm going to be loyal, always loyal. I'm a kid first guy. I could give 2 craps how you feel about me, but I'm going to always tell the parent or the kid the truth. If you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah, but look, Arlis sent out 103 videos. Think about that.
I said it too. But you know what it is? If I believe, I just believe. If I think a kid is good enough. Like Jalik, I thought he was good enough.
But you're not even the coach. Like this is what I'm saying. Right. think about your dedication, and this for all y'all coaches out there. When you got a guy,
I'm a socialite. I don't need to do none of that. I'm just a connected person.
I get that. I get what you're saying. But what I'm talking to the coaches now. If you a person who don't need to do this for them, and you're putting in the time to do it for them, and it's the coach's job to do it for them, and they're not doing that, it's the kid is gonna get hurt.
Really not, as I said, I'm just different. Honestly, it's not really the coach's job. A coach to me is supposed to provide the platform. If you provide the platform, college coaches are there. The rest is on the kids.
Yeah, but hold on. I kind of disagree because there's a situation, right? Brooklyn Tech was playing in our tournament this year, right? Elmer Anderson, the JV coach, and there's a varsity coach. The varsity coach told the kids, it's not my job to get colleges to look at you guys. And I think that's a shame because, you know, if you want a kid to dedicate himself to you, right? Go to practice and do all the things and win these games, I think that's the least you can do.
You got to look at it like this, right? John played with St. Francis, right?
We played in the same conference.
Okay.
Fact.
Nobody went to LIU games until Charles Jones and Richie Parker and Mike Campbell. They loaded the city up. They tore that shit apart. I used to go to the games because, you know, Charles from my hood. I watched every hood in Brooklyn come to LIU games that hated each other. Fort Greene, Bed-Stuy, Brownsville. No violence to watch Charles play. Like, to where, like, the attention, I didn't even know LIU was Division I. Like, I don't think nobody did really at the time.
It just got on your radar. It just got because they was a winning program before that. They was in a losing slump before they came.
They probably
you get what I'm saying?
Charles is older. Ray Hassan got. I told you my cousin.
Even before.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we played John, when they was in that damn theater, when they was in that theater.
I've been saying that gym looked at Harwood was the games packed. When Charles got there, he changed the narrative.
Of course, because you got the number one score in the country. That could be.
I'm just saying, but he wasn't. He averaged.
Carry Scary that year. The year Carry Scary.
He averaged 13 points a game at Rutgers before he got there. He was the leading scorer in the country.
I know that, but what I'm telling you is there's a history before Charles Jones.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's not.
So when you saw it, it was lit, and you was like, "Damn, I didn't know." Right?
It's the same thing when I know D. Burn. D. Burn told me how to play defense when me and Speedy used to come up there and play pickup game. When you look at Hosh, you're like, all right, Speedy got drafted out of that shit. So it's a different light. So you can look at it in the same context, like, oh shit, he's little as hell. Like he got drafted. I was there for the whole movement. I remember when he committed to it. You understand what I'm saying? Like I tell kids all day, it don't like if you're nice, they gonna find you.
No, I agree. I agree.
You gotta realize John be getting head in gyms. Like he's a like, oh shit, this kid's over there averaging 20-something. He'll find a kid from shit dip Nebraska in Long Island and grab him and put him under the wing. Like but my point is if you are a coach, which a lot of our guys are coaches and who bust their butt to get these kids into school, right? You know, I could go on like Bud at Jefferson. I know Bud.
So we talk about Division I's, Division II's, Division III's, junior college. He makes sure all his kids go to college. And if we can have a bunch of them up here, I think that's part of the job. I think that's part of the job. To just give you a uniform so you can get some wins for the coaches. You're not putting in the work. I just think it's unfair.
Hey Glenn, look at, and I'm gonna keep saying Eagle because look at what they're doing. They got those kids.
Turner's Pop's coach at, right? Or he coach at Wings.
No, that's Wings. I'm talking about Eagle in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Those kids, right?
Those kids are visiting Patriot League, Ivy League school.
Like a 95 average. Trey Shep, right? Trey Shepard, right?
Yeah. Let me tell you something. That is when I look at it, I think it's a miracle with what they're doing.
And they got 3 Division I coaches. Three coaches.
I didn't even go there.
Right? All three of them. All three. I know.
Who the coaches over there?
Who's that? Malik Booth?
Kev Hamilton,
Okay.
Yep.
who was the player of the year in the Patriot League
That's
and
it.
defensive year, and played overseas.
And I think didn't KK played NIA D1, right?
Facts. And you got Paul Scurry on here. Carrie Scurry brother said, check out the history. Quite a few dudes got drafted from there.
Malik Booth, the head coach over there?
To my LIU. He's talking about LIU.
We talking about LI. We talking about
is Malik Booth the head coach at Eagle?
Nah.
No, Kev Hamilton. Kev Hamilton is the coach.
I heard that name before, Kevin.
Yeah. We scrimmaged them. And when I talked to, I said, Kate, any kid in that situation, if you want to play ball, I'm just a big fan of kids playing for coaches who've played. Because at any moment, they could say, guess what? Hold on. Put your sneakers on. I'm going to go bust your ass.
Facts.
This generation needs that.
The names that you named, that's a hell of a coaching staff.
Yeah, man, they doing their thing.
Right? You got Bud and Selden, both Division I. You got Rob Phelps, right? The number 15 scorer in New York State history who played for Providence. You know what I'm saying? You got Gary Irvin, another, high D1 coach. So these guys are going to they're going to put in the work.
I'll be sending my kids over there to G Herb.
So when I hear a coach who's at a coach, I don't know this guy's name, who's at Brooklyn Tech, and I hear the players who are good players, and they go, yeah, my coach says now this job that's trying to help me get to college. I think that's crazy.
I mean, everybody don't have connection. I'm just connected.
But when you got Elmer Anderson, your JV coach, and he's doing it.
Hey, bro.
You get what I'm saying?
So check this out. Hey, Glenn, so you can't get mad when a family wants more.
Facts.
You can't get mad. You cannot get mad.
Brooklyn Tech, that's the joint over there down the block from LIU, right? So like they don't pay to go to high school there. That's not a Catholic school.
I know, but they got some of the smartest kids in the city. So your job is halfway done. Where a lot of other kids who come from other public schools, grades is really the problem, but not at Brooklyn Tech.
Let me ask you something. Why kids can't market themselves?
We see kids doing that all the time. But when you're a coach and you played at the levels that guys played at, you understand it's a coach job. It's a coach job. I would be remiss right now if my coach and Tom didn't get with Tom Kachowski to get me into prep school.
What prep school you went to?
I went to MCI. I was the first player in New York City to go to MCI.
You was over there with Sam Cassell, Carl Hines?
No, I was before all of them. I was the first player for New York City to go to MCI. This is in '87.
That shit like a jail over there. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? There's some of the richest people in the country.
You went to prep, right, John?
Say it again.
You went to prep school, right?
Yeah, I did 1 year at Milford.
That shit like a dump. That's what my son Esau went. Norm Richardson, all the way there. Trev, everybody went there.
Yeah, I only went for like 3 months. Once I got my situation, I was done.
Yeah, look, me too. And I went there my senior year and then realized I could do a prep year and then go anywhere I wanted to go. Right? Totally different. All right, so let's move on. Right? South Shore beat Long Island Lutheran for the state championship last year in a classic game. Right? In a classic game for the state championship because of the whole COVID situation. Right?
That was a good game. I seen some of it though. I ain't watched
it. Yeah, it was a very good game. And South Shore wound up winning up by 1 point, right? Now, what schools are looking good? Right, we talked about some of the players that's out Long Island. What schools do you think got enough to compete with the city schools?
You first, Arlis.
Just loser.
We can't put them in the same. We can't put them in the same.
I won last year, but you going now? Yeah,
because they recruit high level kids. You can't put them in the same.
I'm just saying. I said upper room, but you going now? It's not the same.
Oh yeah.
Upper room could compete. Last year they could have competed.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Honestly, none.
None.
Well, we both agreed on that, right?
Yeah, none.
Yeah, y'all both said the same thing.
Last year, Upper Room could have definitely compete with anybody. They had a good. They beat St. Pat's like 2-3 years ago. Like they had a good, great chemistry.
Yeah,
like
none.
out here, it's finicky. It might be like one player.
So,
like it's finicky.
right. So again, this is a coaching situation. It's not the kids.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. And I get what you're saying. All this, not to backtrack, but as a coach, man, you have to get involved. You can't. And the difference between the Brooklyn schools and out here, you got the science teacher coaching basketball.
The reason why I say that, let me break it down. The reason why I'm saying that because only reason I'm saying that because kids do a lot of complaining, which I hate. They blame everybody. They don't go high D1. They can be like, "Yo, man, Coach John Arnold, such and such." That's not his job. He did his job. He provided the platform, got you on every stage you needed to get to. He can't convince a school because at the end of the day, it's still business. It's money.
Yeah.
I mean, that money physically, cash money. A scholarship is $300,000. My scholarship was $300,000. Damn near. Back then. So that shit probably like 5 or 6, I don't know, 400,000 or 500,000 now. So you can't convince a school to give a kid.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that all this. I'm not saying all I'm just saying just be in a position to kind of help out.
I'm
like
saying these kids complain. John knows this. All they do is complain.
But that's all over. That's a universal
that's all
thing.
over.
That's a universal
when
thing.
they don't go D1, I watch kids complain and blame their coaches. So they just say, like, I see what John can do. I watched it firsthand. Kid don't go D1. What they gonna say? Yo, Coach John Arnold, he ain't give me D1. Yo, he cannot force feed a Division I coach to give you a scholarship. All he could do is get the coaches to come to the game to watch you play. If you perform the way you needed to, because everybody said one thing. I told you from last year, I said, yo, Jared's gonna get it. What you mean he's not as skilled as everybody else? He does all the little shit, the dirty work, diving on the floor, defense, rebound. He's doing all the extra shit that a lot.
But there's a reason why he's at South Shore right now.
No, I'm talking about his not my nephew. I'm talking about Jared Rody.
Okay.
He does all the little shit.
Because all the things I'm talking about is I just asked y'all what schools can compete right now, and y'all was like none. So I'm saying to myself, well, all the schools that's on Long Island, you gonna tell me there's no talent on Staten Island that can compete?
Tell you what, right? You got they got the Dave Edwards tournament, right? Will 2G's reached out to me at the Lincoln Park. He does that too. He said, "Arlis, I need some schools." I hit all the schools up. He said, "Don't worry about the money or nothing. I'm gonna put them in." None of them responded back. That's
the coaches. That's not the kids.
It's not the kids. Arlis, it's not the kids, man. It's the coaches. And
I'm saying it is the coaches. They like, yo, I got something. I'm like, yo, bro, you don't gotta worry about.
But that falls into the situation where you got kids that's not really going nowhere or even producing.
You got a good look. Y'all brought back the Breedwood tournament. You sit there and ask me, and you're like, yo, don't even worry about the fees. Even if it was no fee involved, some of these kids they still gonna be. You gotta remember, and John know they're comfortable playing here with their friends. They're like, nah, I ain't going there. They look at the footage. Nah, I ain't doing that. They'd rather be a big fish in a little pond out here to compete. I take the kids that's ready to compete. Like my man East always tell me, yo, when I'm going to war, I need dogs to go to war with. So the kids that I be having, when I put in Lincoln Park, and they go, dogs. They're ready to compete.
Yo, Glenn, also you gotta, just to kind of add to what Arlis is saying, the same kids, the same issues, with coaches you have with parents and kids. Most kids think they all can play on the EYBL circuit. Every kid think they could play on a shoe team, and they don't look at, okay, like when we played, Glenn, you had the Gauchos and Riverside was considered cream of the crop, but you had the Broncos where we all got scholarships. We weren't the so-called the cream of the crop, but we got scholarships where most of these kids start chasing that. And then when you turn around and look during spring, they picked that wrong AAU situations to play with.
Facts.
Where like I hear kids say, "Oh, yeah, you taking your kids over the Crown? You taking them over the Crown?" Every year at that program, a kid has gotten a scholarship from Missouri, from St. Peter's. You could go on and on. All of those kids from Quinnipiac.
Listen, you can get
from Sacred Heart, Fairfield. All these kids are getting Division I scholarship. So I'm saying, you know what? Good. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Keep chasing that.
When Sean got the Missouri joint, Sean DeRue, I was like, damn, he did that out of the hoop joint.
So Glenn, Crown is like the Broncos of AAU.
Got you. Who's St. John's the Baptist? Jamal Wilson.
Yeah, that's Carter's dad. That's Carter's dad.
He said St. John the Baptist, we throwing out kids and everything. IS-8, round ball.
Oh yeah. You gotta give, they do that. They definitely are playing in those different events. And they got good young, all those kids are young. Like his son who I mentioned, those are young kids. 2 years.
Put them in. I forgot to reach out to them.
In 2 years, they're going to be able to compete with a lot of high schools.
St. John's the Baptist, salute.
I get them a year or two. They're going to be able to compete with a lot of those teams. But again, the coach is involved with the young kids.
See the difference? That's what we're talking about. Yes.
He's building that. You don't have that. You don't have that everywhere in Long Island. In Long Island, the coaches saying, "I coach them when they come." And that's the problem. That's the problem. I've always said that. And not for nothing, Glenn. We probably have the better 6th, 7th, 8th grade. The little ones, tough.
Got you.
Tough.
Right.
Am I lying, Arlis?
Nah, you ain't lying. I ain't gonna lie. D-Burt got a nice one going in. I forgot this kid's name. He got an 8th grader. That's serious.
I think they speeding with that. That he's too small. I think you're gonna hurt that kid by letting them play with the kids. Huh?
I think I forgot his name.
You talking about Peyton, the little kid Peyton? Yeah. It's too early. Peyton and nice little kid, but it's too early. You're gonna hurt that kid.
To play varsity?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Physically.
Coach Jamal Wilson said coaches gotta be involved. So when you building them up young, at least you set the platform, and I agree with that, Arlis. You set the platform for them, you build it, they come, and then hopefully you can turn this into something for the long run. You know what I'm saying? So they can get something out of it. So that's one thing I definitely agree on.
And that's how you keep kids on the island. And during the season, you can't pad your schedule with, okay, I know that's a win. Guess what? You may have to get your head beat in just to prepare your kids. Because guess what? It's going to happen if you go upstate to play these same schools. A lot of these schools they don't schedule well. And that was one of the reasons with Jared, just to bring Jared up, that was one of the reasons. It just didn't make sense for his development to stay here. He needed dog food.
He definitely did that.
So this is why Chris C. Wills test the waters up at St. Ray's was a dope situation, because you get to see where you at, right? You get to see where exactly you're at, and I don't think there were any Long Island teams.
But I'm gonna say this.
Yeah, Jersey, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx teams, Manhattan teams, no Long Island teams.
But we gotta give also the guy at Chaminade. Believe it or not, I've seen them in the city, and I'm like, that's Chaminade up here. They go up and they'll play.
Okay.
He just doesn't have a big pool to pick from, but they'll go up there and play. And when we do, when we do have a good team, they don't go up there and do it. They don't go out and spread their wings to do it.
Arlis, and then you can answer this too, John, but I'm gonna ask Arlis first. Do you think Long Island has a chance in the next few years to turn out another Mr. Basketball?
Yeah. Especially with the younger kids. And he's saying, that's where they mostly at, like the 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Yeah. If you go back, like, was that class of 2028, something like that, 29?
Yeah. Think about it. Jordan Riley did it. When he did
He
it,
did that during COVID.
It was down. You know, he killed. So
Savion
I think so. It could be done.
Savion did it like 3 years before that, 2-3 years before that.
It could be done.
Yeah, definitely.
You think they kind of swap out? Let's do some city kids, and we're gonna do a kid from upstate. Then we gonna go out to Long Island.
Upstate got a lot of talented players. Rochester, but
yeah.
Like
sure.
I even go back from the days when I played. Like, 'cause I played, me and Phil Grant. We played like with Mickey Walker, like the USDBL, like with Lionel Chalmers, Jackie Rogers, and Thomas, like they Willie Dean, like they had some dogs of like upstate, like. Cause I used to bounce around and go to USA, Pageant, just bouncing around. Doc, like upstate got a lot of like talented players, like a lot of
don't we know John?
Upstate's like Syracuse.
You remember that band, right?
Oh man,
Tim Wynn, like as I say, even when I was in prep, I played against all of them, like Shea Cotton. He was like the top player in the country. I showed you the rankings of
right.
Where I was at, I was 6. He was 1. So you got a Juju Dang. They got a million brothers. Like I'm like, damn, was another one of them? Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like it was a lot. Bobby Moore, Will Solomon, like Connecticut got.
If you remember Tiki Maybin, I had him on the show. His story, whoa. I told him he need a movie or a book. When I put this out, people gonna realize, holy, this.
What year he was there? How old is he?
He was with Bashy and them. Like he was on that first. He was in that the Jordan Classic. He was in that first LeBron Skill Camp before they called it the LeBron Skill Camp.
So he went to Lincoln?
He was on Olympic team. He went to UMass, right? But then it was the balance. He was so caught up in the streets, and he brought some of that element because he went through a lot, man. He went through a lot, and just to be at that level and all the stuff that he went through. Then he transferred to Binghamton, and then he got caught in the situation. Then he lost the scholarship and everything. Yeah. But his story was crazy.
But Glenn, what's interesting about Long Island though? We by far have the better basketball environments. Like, yes, you could go to any school, the game is packed. Rocket. Rocket. So, so it's no excuses, man. There's no excuses why those coaches shouldn't be involved.
That's real. So listen, I want to play y'all something real quick, and I want to get your did anybody see that Jalen Rose post I put on my page?
Yeah. Oh, shout out my guy Trevor Diggs. I came up on him too. You know what I'm saying?
No, I didn't.
Sure. All right, so I'm gonna play the audio for you guys. All right, so you can hear what he said. Hold on. Why isn't my volume coming on? What the hell?
It's a score of the game, and it's a game of life. And the one thing athletes have to learn is there's only like 10 people that the rest of the world really cares what they accomplish. It's like if you're not Michael Jordan, if you're not, Jay-Z, the society makes us think it's only 10 successful black people. Look at Junior Bridgman. Yeah. Like he's been an elite businessman forever as a former NBA player. What about Denny Johnson? Yep. Jamal Mashburn. Same thing. Jamal Mashburn. Correct. And so what ends up happening is those stories don't get acknowledged, but they're happening. And the reason why they don't get acknowledged is because those dudes ain't pumping their chests out talking about. They just like collecting the money.
All right. So for those people who didn't hear what he was fully saying, he said that society or the media only puts out a small group of people who they say are considered successful. The Michael Jordans, LeBrons, and the Jay-Z's. But we never talk about the Junior Bridgmans, who's worth almost close to $500 million. Vinny Johnson, another one close to $500 million, and Jamal Mashburn. And we go on and on for days. And they quick to let us know about the ball players who lost all the money, right? They quick to let us know, right? There's a certain group that gets the money, a certain group that lost the money, but never talk about the guys who in between who acquired a lot of wealth. So I thought that was very, very important, especially for kids to see and for people to kind of identify with. What do you guys think about that before we end this show and get out of here?
So you want to go first?
I mean, as I said, I feel like there's a lot of players that kind of went unknown. As I said, me knowing Jamal personally, I mean, I think he dogged from every level, high school, college, NBA. But, you know, I think it's how the NBA teams market their marquee players. You know, it's always, I even like Scottie Pippen, I think he was like a big-time player, a big factor. But, you know, he played with Mike. You know what I'm saying? So a Paxson, a Kerr, or Ron Harper, but you know they're not getting marketed the way Jordan or Kukoc or whoever else. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just I look at all this shit. A lot of this shit is all political shit. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
I never even knew Vinny Johnson was worth $500 million.
Yeah. So, but this is what I'm saying. The information, if the information is not available, or it's available, but it's not talked about. It's not talked about like Antoine Walker, who lost all these millions of dollars. But they won't mention Junior Bridgman, or they won't mention Jamal Mashburn or Vinny Johnson, any of these guys. They never highlight them on Sports Center or NBA Tonight with Shaq and those guys. They never highlight those guys. Right, John? What do you think?
I think they probably don't even want to get highlighted. If dude got $500 million, I wouldn't give a fuck about being highlighted. I know what.
I'm not talking about the individual. So I'm not talking about the individual. I'm just talking about the information. You think Jordan? These guys don't want their money out there, but it's presented that way. LeBron and them is presented that way. They don't come out and say it themselves. I'm just talking about the media and who the kids know, who the kids able to identify with. Right, because there's more successful guys that are doing well than just this small group of guys who are doing it.
I agree. I agree exactly with Jalen Rose is saying. That's 1,000% correct.
Yeah,
and I can relate that to and I'm gonna keep it in perspective of what we've been talking about all day.
Yeah.
With kids seeing other kids getting these offers, it's the same thing, and those are thrown in their face where they feel I got to get these offers because what's his name got an offer. It's different, but it's the same concept.
No, I get it. Yeah.
And with social media, with people not understanding, a lot of that is bullshit because it's the end game. This is all about the end game. And you have some kids or parents who may have, or coaches may have different relationships where they can do that for a kid. But is it real? Like, how much are you really helping a kid by flashing? You put like this. You got kids with more offers than the top 10 kids in that same class put together. Like, I don't know, that it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And knowing why do that? Because at the end of the day, if your kid doesn't live up to that, that's cream on the kid face. It's not the parent. It's the kid or the coach. Is the kid has to deal with that. So it's the same thing, man. I think we glorify, they put in our faces what's not happening, or oh yeah, he lost all his money, or he didn't. And throwing, then you got those guys with all that money. It's tough, man. It's tough, man. I'm not a big fan of social media. I get it, but I'm not a big fan. I'm just not a big fan, and I get it. You got to do it, but because I think it's watering down. It's watering down what it should be, because kids don't get. Glenn, in football, it's the same thing. I got my guys looking at other kids getting offers, and I'm like, dude. They didn't get the offers because they went to this school or that school. they may have the measurables that college coach is looking for at that time. Has nothing to do with you could go to Hicksville. If you got those measurables, you're going to get those offers. It's the same thing. And it's hard explaining that to kids when they're looking and seeing other kids with offers, and you ask them, yo, did the coach reach out to your parents? Oh, no. The coach just texted me. That's not an offer. Or my coach told me. That's not an offer. Did you speak to that head coach? Is he recruiting your family? Not just you. Is he recruiting your family? That's how it's done.
Yo, I love back in the days when you got things like this. the handwritten letter, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you got a coach that's writing you personally and you know what you wanted to, what school you wanted to go to. And or you got these. You got the generics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And see, we
There's
didn't,
a big difference.
but we didn't have, it wasn't, you got a million. We was excited about getting letters. Coming to practice, coach walking out with a letter. Hey Johnny, you gotta see Ruckus sent you this letter. I'm super excited. To where now it's like, dude, like, and Glenn, we played against none but pros in high school.
Facts.
So it's just it's just so different now. And I just wish we were honest with these kids. You got to start listening. You listen to Deion Sanders?
Oh, all the time.
Oh my, he dropped jewels after jewels, man. Yeah. And Deion is real. He's real.
When you played at the highest levels, or you played at a level where you know this is what you need to do to be successful. And he played at the highest levels on every level.
Yeah.
And taking the chance with Jackson State, and look what he's doing.
I don't even think he took a chance. He just changed the narrative. I mean, prime time is prime time. Like,
facts.
He played two sports like BoJack. Like I don't think he took no chances. Like, it was already D1. Who wouldn't want to play for Deion Sanders?
Yeah, but he's also a realist. Where did you see what he posted today?
What was it?
Where he talked about how hard it is. Kids don't want to hear the truth. Kids don't want to hear. Guess what? If you got 15 offers from low D1, guess what? 9 out of 10 times you a low D1 kid, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Facts.
There's nothing wrong with that. And he talked about how kids don't want to hear the truth. If what you mentioned earlier about Mash had a good, not a great pro career, but he had a hell of a career afterwards, business career.
Facts.
I mean, he's very smart. He's a real smart, savvy kind of guy. So
you put this up, John.
Mm-hmm.
You put this up today.
So what up, to?
It says, and I'm gonna get y'all here. MJ played JV as a sophomore. Pip started college as a manager. Rodman didn't play high school ball. Kerr had no offers until his senior year. Meanwhile, we have people trying to commit 8th graders, worrying about exposure and constantly comparing young age groups. Just get better.
That's it. That is it.
And Pippen was a manager?
What'd you say?
Pippen was a manager?
Pippen.
When in college?
Probably in high school.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because Pippen, they said he was 6 feet, I believe.
That's crazy.
So you don't know. That's why I'm a big late bloomer fan, man.
Yes.
I'm the same way, though. I mean,
he always displayed how he was a late bloomer, yeah?
I was late bloomer. Because I was short, and I grew from like 5'9", 5'10", to like 6'3", 6'4". Dunking at the strength shoes, started going crazy. I was like, all right, cool. I told you, these kids playing 4 years of high school. I played a year and a half.
Damn, Arlis. I was 5'8" as a freshman, then grew to 6'4".
That's how I was, but I mean, I ain't going.
And I started playing at high school in the 9th grade because I lucked up and made the varsity team. I went to Lincoln to play football.
Shit, I only played my senior year and post-grad year. That was it. I was eligible all other years. I was like tentatively just play AAU. That was it.
Well, my whole family, the women are 6'2". Both my brothers 6'4", 6'5". Everybody's 6'4", 6'5", and better. So there you have it.
You played with the legendary Carl Hines, man. Manhattan Center, man. And after that, Cameron and Mason don't play after y'all. and Richie Parker and them. So, man,
and you know, I gotta mention this every show.
Mo
Yo,
Hicks
all
was
this.
score back then.
Yo, all this. Yo, look at John. Yo, John. No, but this is how close we are. We played against each other in the city championship. Did play with each other in AAU. Like it became like, you know, two of the best friends. We always hung out together on the road. And it's crazy how years later we still bros and still kicking it. You know what I'm saying? Talking basketball, trying to help kids, man. So that's my guy.
One of the best players gonna come out of New York City. They never shout out the controller, Kerry Thompson. Love Kerry Thompson game. Shout out Kerry Thompson.
No doubt. Any last words before we get out of here? Corey Rice said Rochester got 2 players in the NBA right now. Put them in the chat, Corey.
Isaiah Washington. Not Isaiah Washington. Isaiah he played with the Pistons. What's his last name? The one that was trying to fight LeBron. He's from Rochester.
Okay. Got you. I didn't know that. Any last words, fellas, before we get out of here?
Well, you could check. Well, you know, I do films and stuff. You could check my movie Size out. So we drop by the end of the year. You could check us out, Power Shift, you know what I'm saying, 17U. My guy Lee Michaels, you know what I'm saying, helping them out in Purpose Basketball and all other programs that's doing beautiful things for the kids. Shout out John Arnold, the OG. He's definitely a motivator, a mentor to the youth, and you need more people like him. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
a lot of people quit on him because he's tough, and you know what I'm talking about. From last summer, we used to go to the park tournament. A couple of kids quit on him because he was too tough, man. But you know,
no nonsense, John. That's right.
But you know, like they just don't understand, and he can't make them understand. He's like, yo, he's gonna put this work in, and you're not. So.
And tell the people about your movie on Tubi, man.
Oh, Professional Chiller. We on Tubi. You can check it out. The web series. It got picked up by Tubi and a movie Size. My first feature film that I wrote, co-directed with Calico Lou and produced. You can check that out. And you can check us out in the spring and the summer with the basketball, 17U, the Power Shift. AAU will probably be on the May Hoops, Marquee Hoops circuit. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to make noise and do our thing.
And they both going to be in the Brevoort Basketball League next year. So
we winning that. So them trophies you got back. You might as well send it to me now. So you know.
Okay.
All hidden gems too. When you see it, you're like, oh shit. So
listen,
make sure
it ain't gonna do nothing but make it, make the tournament even more popping. So that's that. I love it, man. Bring the best ball players.
Yeah.
What about you, John?
I just want to say definitely to my football and basketball kids, and just you just gotta learn how to work, man. Learn how to work, because once you learn how to work, all that other stuff is it's BS. You won't get caught up in that, and that's it in a nutshell. I just think most people today don't have a plan. Gotta have a plan, man. Put a plan together and work. Period. That's it.
And for those of you that want to hear the John Arnold story, just scroll down. Just scroll down, fam. Actually, we got a few shows up here together, but his story, just scroll down to my YouTube page, NYC Basketball Network. Make sure you subscribe and check out the John Arnold story.
Definitely.
Yo, Glenn, I got to get that photo.
Yo, I never gave you that photo.
Yeah, I got it. I got to show it to you.
Yo, John got one of the best pictures. You know, we have an artist on the show too, Arlis, right? We draw, especially during the pandemic, he was here every show. And John got one of the illest portraits. I'm like, yo, fan, can I put it up so I can show people, man? Because people gonna be jealous, man, because your joint is still one of the best ones.
And make sure shout out to you, because your platform is real good for the from the pioneers. Like you had Marilyn Eli on here. A lot of the kids don't even know who that is. They don't even know he's from New York.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you. You got a lot. I just watched. You got the kids from Jefferson on there. You know, the Connor. I think that's his name.
Oh yeah, they play with me this summer. So Connor and them got a lot of.
But
a lot of love.
I'm seeing it from like your platform and Gary Irvin and I'm starting to see some of the younger kids like coming up. So, but your platform is always appreciated to get some of these kids out there in your tournament as well. I definitely want to be a part of it. Do the fact it's in my hood. And definitely want to bring one of them trophies right back. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trophy chasing all next summer.
No doubt.
I'm just got them all in the back. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Yo, Glenn.
Yes.
Yo, Glenn. Yo, this is what my family and my friends did for me for my 50th, man. Brought tears to my eyes, yo.
Wow. That's hard, yo. No, what's the other two pictures? Let me see the other two pictures on the bottom. What's the other two pictures? Wow. That's hard, yo.
That was against Seton Hall. That was against Seton Hall.
Yeah, you see how Cudaby is. He got like the muscles bulging and everything.
Yeah. John was always, strong point guard, man. For sure.
You never trained. You just stayed all 4 years at St. Francis.
Yeah, I was killing Danny Hurley with that photo. That photo when we were talking, he was recruiting Youssef, because that was it. He was actually guarding me in that photo.
Yeah, wow. That was number 15. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go to Seton Hall campus as a little kid. I remember him, Terry DeHare. I remember Lavelle Sanders. That was another, pioneer OG. I remember all them guys.
So this weekend, I got Christian Jeffries, Bishop Loughlin, high school star.
Man child.
I got Coach Jones, female coach. She was the assistant coach for the girls in the Nike versus Nike. I got Carrie Scurry coming up on the 21st. I got Cha-Ching, the voice of New York City. Got him on the 23rd. I got Randy from NYC Prospect. We're going to be going over the whole PSAL.
Randy, my guy.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got Brian Nash. You know who that is, right?
Wait, he's at IMG, right?
He's at IMG. He's the athletic director at IMG, a New York City guy, for sure.
Yeah, you got everybody on
And
there.
and November 4th, we got Book Richardson.
That's dope.
Yo, Glenn, that's a must book. That's a must.
Yo, when I salute the Book Richardson.
Book played when you was playing, right?
Huh?
Book is a little younger, but
he's a little younger than us.
He one of my young guys, though.
So when I walked into the Gauchos, because we've been, back and forth on Instagram. So as soon as I go up at the Gauchos this weekend, he at the door. He see me, he just go, yo, I'm coming to tell my story on your show. I said, what we gonna do it, fam? When we gonna do it? He said, nah, I'm gonna come up there and talk my shit, because I put up a post a couple of weeks ago about the NIL, and he was just talking about his situation. It was like the things that I was trying to do a year before, a year later, they come out with it, and I go to jail for it.
Yeah, yo, let me tell you something, man. Typical New York tough kid.
Facts. And he was a ball player, so that's another thing we want to let the kids know.
Yo, how do you think Book is not him reading a book? His nickname was Pocketbook.
Woo!
I'll let him tell that. I'm not gonna give that away.
That's just gonna be one of my questions now. That's ill right there.
Yep.
He was the same Ravens kid, right? Like the same Ravens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Kareem Reed and them?
Book was before Kareem Reed.
We thought they were like Dana and them, probably, right?
Was he? Nah. Book was he might have been before Dana too. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been Jerry and him. Jerry Ice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, had him up too. Yeah, for sure.
That's my little Jerry didn't tell you I used to take him to my games with me, right?
Yo, when we was on the phone that day, right? So listen, I'm gonna tell the quick story before we get out of here. And this is how close the brotherhood is, right? For New York City. It was a guy that's supposed to be doing Carlton Hines documentary, and he's still doing it because they interviewed my coach Paul Pellicani from MCI.
Come on, Troy Reed.
What's his name?
Troy Reed.
No. That's the old one. We got this
They got a whole
white
new,
dude.
they got a whole new car Hans on.
They're working on it right now. So
we got to talk. We got to finish talking about that.
So
they gonna have you on there.
He was calling me crazy because he wanted me to be a part of it. He knew I went to MCI, and he know that I got the basketball show, so he kind of wanted to put all that together. And I said, "Yo, fam, did you speak to the wife?" Because I was there when the wife barked on him, but he didn't let me know he was the guy that the wife was barking on. So when you called me, and then we put Jerry on the phone, I was just like, I never got back with him. Sorry to say, brother, you probably watching the show.
Yeah, same.
I couldn't do it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Same here. I told him, I said, you just before I do it, you got to get approval from that family.
Facts.
I'm not gonna do that.
Facts.
And that's out of respect to his wife and his kids. I wouldn't do that.
And he was just telling me how they're gonna have it everywhere, and I was just like, I'm not one of those dudes who just gonna do it just to be doing it because it's gonna be everywhere for promotion. I'm not with that. I'll brotherhood first, man. So
no, absolutely, man.
Yeah. Hey, yo, fellas, man, I thank you for taking out your Friday for chopping it up with your boy. I appreciate this. It means a lot because I know it takes a lot to come out on a Friday and do these shows, man. I want to thank you. Thank you, Arlis. Thank you, John. Appreciate you, brothers, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this again soon, man.
Oh shit, you know what it is, man.
For sure.
Yeah,
for
man,
sure.
anything for you, boy. You know that.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Let's do it. All right. Listen, it's always good to chop it up with your peoples, right? And I know my arms kind of stretch a little long out here in these New York City streets, but I'm bringing up two guys who are ball players, Arlis, ball players / entrepreneur / movie director, John Arnold, basketball, football coach, great player in high school and college, to sit down and chop it up about New York City basketball and also Long Island. Tonight we was talking about Long Island, so I want to make sure that we did Long Island justice. I want to salute the coach, Jamal Wilson, for coming on the check-in and letting us know that St. Baptist High School is out there doing their thing. So y'all keep doing your thing. Chaminade, keep doing your thing. And just keep respecting the game, man. That's all we can do is keep respecting the game because it's all about the kids. And I'm going to stand on this. The coaches, when you got two guys who are like the gatekeepers for Long Island basketball and know what's going on out there, and they both said they don't have any team that can compete right now, and they're looking for the younger kids to come up and change that, we know that there's a situation with the coaches. Coaches, get out there and keep pushing these kids. Do what's right. Spend that time with them. Motivate them. Cultivate them so they can turn their programs into a program that can compete. That's all we're saying. Long Island is still part of New York. So unless we strengthen Long Island, upstate, and New York City, as a whole, we can't compete. So we got to make sure that we competing with these other states out here that look at us as separate entities. You got New York City, you got Long Island, then you got upstate. Together, we're one. And when we come together, we make a fist. And that note, we getting out of here. Thank you for joining me on Friday. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. And you've been watching Basketball Heads Live, the podcast on NYC Basketball Network. We are the official home for New York City basketball. Peace.